Hello, this is a very quick introduction to the Salesforce.com integration app available within Oracle Eloqua's app marketplace. The Salesforce.com integration app serves as an alternative and eventually a replacement to the default integration available through the integration section of Oracle Eloqua to Salesforce. The new app comes with all of the same functionality as the previous integration, but the interface is much more intuitive. So anyone who is unfamiliar with integrations or feels a little bit overwhelmed at the idea of managing multiple data processing steps can very easily get up to speed and feel quite comfortable with the tool. For the purpose of this introduction, I'll take you through the main sections of the new app. There are status and reporting, where you can look at total summary of all data imported and total data exported, including any failed updates that happened. You can have some simple reports that will show you what types of data was imported, a breakdown of the days that the imports happened, what succeeded and what failed. And you can look at the multiple different integrations that you may have if you are running multiple connections at once. So it's a really simple place to go and check on the status of your integration. We then have actions. Actions are the processing of data from Eloqua to Salesforce. So here you can centralize all of your actions outbound, whether that is the creation of a new lead, the updating of a lead, the creation or the update of a contact, or maybe even the creation of a task on a contact for your sales team. All of the actions in here allow you to view individual reports to show the status of all of the actions, whether or not they succeeded, if they failed, and what the fail errors were. The ability to edit the action so you can specify the fields that you would like to map to the new record that you create in Salesforce, and the priority. So if I scroll down to the bottom here, you can see that you have different import rules that allow you to control data prioritization, much in the same way as the legacy integration. It's just a little bit easier to find. The import section of the new Salesforce integration app allows you to pull data from Salesforce into Eloqua. Now, previously with the old integration, I always found it quite difficult to navigate to my imports and control my field mappings and just manage what was active, what wasn't active all at any one point in time. With the new application, you can see all of your imports, you can see their status, you can see whether or not they're active when they last ran. You can also add the imports to programs. So on completion, you can move people straight into programs, which is great. And you can also have data mapping from a Salesforce contact or lead or any other object within Salesforce directly to the Eloqua contact, to the Eloqua account, to the Eloqua opportunity record, or to an Eloqua custom object record. This for me is really, really powerful because it allows you to pull in all manner of Salesforce data. And in businesses that I work for, we typically have most of our data centralized in Salesforce, but it needs to be made more usable within our marketing automation systems. So being able to have a mirror or at least a destination within Eloqua to query that data immediately is really, really useful. You can set all of your data priorities to run every 15 minutes at the quickest, and you can run it every 24 hours at the slowest. You can choose the days that you would like to schedule your calls, and then you can use some SQL to be able to write the conditions as to when each of those imports fire. You can also manually run them if you wish to test every call that you have. We then have marketing activities. So in the native integration, you are able to run activities on an individual basis. With the new application, you can consolidate the number of calls that you send to Salesforce, meaning that you have fewer ongoing actions happening within the integration, allowing for usually a much more stable integration. And you can bulk all of your activities to sync or send over time. So you may choose to send all email sends every few minutes or every few hours, all email clicks every few minutes or few hours, or you may choose to send all activities as one big batch altogether. The campaigns section of the Salesforce integration app allows you to do 3 different actions. So you can either create and update campaigns, whether that's in Eloqua or in Salesforce, depending on where you want the data to move from. You can import campaign data from Salesforce into Eloqua to be used immediately. and you can set up new response actions so that your response rules in Eloqua will trigger some kind of action within Salesforce without having to go and set that up in a separate location. We then have connections. So one of the useful things with the new integration app is you can have multiple integrations or connections set up at once. So if you have different users or different teams that are processing different types of data and you want to keep the users and the roles separate, it's very easy to create multiple users that have different roles and permissions within Salesforce, and that only allows the users to manipulate and edit and process data relative to their role. This is also very important if you work for a particularly complex organization where data privacy is difficult to maintain. And if you wanted to partition or separate out the actions that your Salesforce users can do based on where they are in the world, it's also very, very helpful. And finally, you can configure notifications on the complete of actions, on the error of actions, and you can do that either for individuals or for every single action that happens within the system. You can do that for imports as well. So all in all, the app is very good at centralizing all of the data processing actions within Salesforce, or within Eloqua to Salesforce, should I say. But the best thing about the app, which I really appreciate, is it's now very easy to add direct actions within your program canvases. So previously, I always found working with Program Builder a slightly disjointed experience. You'd have to go into your campaign, you would have to set up your action, you'd have to send the data to the program within the Program Builder, and then you would have to go in there to check to see if all of your actions were validated and successful. With the new integration, you can open up a program, and if I open up one of my programs here as an example, all of the actions to send data to Salesforce, whether it's a create lead, an update lead, create task, update campaign member, if you wanted to trigger lead assignment rules, they can all be controlled directly on the program canvas. There's no need to send data to another section of Eloqua. So for me, this was a game changer in terms of how we use our Eloqua system and how all of our users who are unfamiliar with the integration settings can start to familiarize themselves with the process and ultimately become much more knowledgeable and confident with how our data from Eloqua passes to Salesforce so that we can generate better leads, we can send the sales teams better information, hopefully we can close more deals. So that's the summary of the Salesforce integration app. Thank you for listening.